Hello everybody, it is time to talk about what happens the moment we go under contract. And of course, the first step is the home inspection. So let's briefly talk about that and what to expect. So of course, the first thing we have is the cost and the type. I get asked this all the time. How much is it going to cost me to have a home inspection? Well, it's not just the home inspection, but just so we can briefly talk about it, we've got the home inspection, which covers everything inside the house, the appliances, the electrical, the plumbing, and the basement, and just really checking everything to do with the interior of the property. That's going to cost you between $500 and $700, depending on the size of the house. Tagged onto that, usually what we have is the radon, which takes place in the basement. Radon is a colorless, odorless gas. It comes out of the ground soil, and it will affect you if you live in the basement over a long period of time. So now we have these tests to see if there's too much radiation radon in the soil, and if there is, then there's a way to remediate it out of the house. That costs us anywhere between $150 to $200. That's usually added in with the home inspection. We also have the well and septic. Now, if there's a well on the property, you're going to want to test that for any kind of microbials, along with potentially any kind of lead in the water or any other kind of issues that might be a problem with drinking. So that's going to be a simple well test. But also you're going to have a septic test. Now, if there is a septic field, depending on the type of septic system, you're going to have people come out, inspect either the distribution tanks and all of the distributors that come away from that, where the septic field is, testing that. If there's going to be a desire to open that up, there's going to be a cost for that, which is additional on your shoulders. But you can also do what's called an orange dye test, where you put a dye into the water and it comes back out into the field, and that will tell you if there's any kind of issues. The cost for that is anywhere between $350 to $500. Visual tests tend to be a little bit less than that, maybe $200. Next one we have is a chimney inspection. If there is a chimney in the property, it would be advisable to get a test, maybe a level 2 chimney test, where they come in there with the camera, they look up inside the chimney, and then they just tell you if there's any kind of cracks, structural issues, or small fractures which might be a problem for you using the fireplace. Chimneys can be very expensive. If you have issues, that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars just to fix the chimney interior with a new flue, and potentially adding rain caps or fixing any kind of the structure on the top of that. Talking about structure, if you're walking around the exterior of the house and you see a big crack on the outside, it would be wise for you to potentially get a structural engineer out there to tell you if there's any issues with the actual house structure. So that would be about another $300 to $500 as well. And then we've got a mold inspection. If you find maybe in the crawl space or in the basement something that looks like mold, of course, I'm not a mold inspector, so it would be wise for you to hire someone that knows about mold and can maybe do an air quality test, check for mold in and around the house and the quality of the air inside the house. So that would be also about $300 to $500, something very useful to find out, especially if you find mold in the house. And then the last one, which is the pest inspection. That one is part of the main body of the contract, and that will check for any kind of wood-destroying insects inside the house. And if they find it, it is responsibility of the seller to cover all costs associated with anything wood-destroying insects. Who will do this inspection for you? Of course, you're welcome to find your own inspector, but there are two that I work with. One of them, his name is Pete Hamner. He's with HomeScope Inspectors. I've worked with him for about 12 years now. Fabulous guy. And he will give us a great inspection, really tell us everything we need to know. He will help us with a home and a radon inspection. I also use Donofrio if I can't get hold of Pete. They have a whole network of inspectors. I work with a few of them within, and they actually will do a lot of stuff. They will do the whole package: home, radon. They'll also do well and septic. They'll also do chimney, structural, and mold and pest inspection. So if you want to get the whole package done, then there's the potential to use them for everything. If you did all of this on here, you're looking at about $3,000 for inspections. But in general, most people only do the home and the radon inspections. So maybe you're out of pocket about $1,000 to maybe $1,500. Thinking about this, depending on what you put down for your inspection, you're going to be doing this inspection with somewhere between 5 to 10 days. The average time frame that we tend to see for a home inspection is 7 days. Radon takes 3 days to come back, so you want to have a minimum of 3 days. And if you're lucky, you can get 10 days time frame to get all of these inspections done. I would say that generally you want to have about 5 days to get all of the inspections and allow time for them to come back from any kind of laboratory that they're getting testing done. So 5 days minimum, 5 days minimum, 7 days hopefully, and 10 days would be ideal. Okay, the home inspection takes about 2 to 3 hours if you're looking at a standard, 3,000 square foot house. About maybe 3 to 5 hours for a 7 to 10,000 square feet house, and for a condo under 2,000 square feet, maybe an hour to an hour and a half. We'll get a report same day, usually, maybe the next morning, but that's when we start to negotiate. If we've done a right to negotiate offer on the home inspection, what we're going to ask for is maybe something to do with safety, electrical and plumbing. You may think if you have a home inspection that you can ask for everything. You can't just take the home inspection, give it to the seller and say, we want everything on this list found, because every home inspector is different. So one home inspector will find this, the next home inspector will find this, the next home inspector will find this. We want to be fair to the seller. The goal of a home inspection is to find things that are broken or defective. Give that to the seller and say, these are the items we'd like you to fix. The major items, the major electrical, the major safety, and the major plumbing issues. This is not a time for you to go to the seller and say, the roof is 30 years old. We want you to replace it. Oh, the roof is 30 years old, but it's working fine, so it's not defective, but it's 30 years old. You cannot ask for them to upgrade your things. You can only ask them to fix and hopefully fix things that are broken, but not to replace things that are old. Alrighty. That's it. What's next? Hopefully the seller will come back and say, yes, I'll repair everything on your list. Otherwise, they will come back and say, okay, we're going to give you a credit of $2,000 for all of this, or they're going to say no. Hopefully, we're looking for, yes, they're going to repair everything, or maybe they'll repair some things and give us a credit for the rest. But the ideal outcome is that they'll repair everything or give us a credit. If they say no to everything or some of the stuff, you have the right to void the contract or accept their answer and move forward. I hope this is useful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me by cell or by email. Take care.